Scott Bauer. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. He's standing by. He's going to join us here to take a look at these numbers. You've got the new jobless claims at 209,000. Scott, they were looking for, well, prior was 221. They were looking for 216,000. First of all, thanks for coming on the show today and giving us part of your day. Before we get into the Fed and some of the other activity impacting price this week, let's take a look at those jobless numbers and unemployment at a 50-year low. No wonder Walmart's and the Target numbers were so strong this week. Jobs are a big part of why the economy here in the U.S. has remained so strong.
Yeah, and this number just really just shines on what has been over the last 3, 6, 9 months or so. So now that number's behind us, it's on to what's going on at Jackson Hole, what is happening over the next couple days. Unless this was a big outlier number, Ben, it really wasn't going to affect the market. It hasn't, because everyone is just squarely focused now on the next 2 days at Jackson Hole.
Certainly. Now, the focus this week has mostly been on the Fed, not so much the jobs, and you just pointed out why. They're pretty clear in terms of their statement, though. The Fed, that was yesterday, they said this is a recalibration, not the first step in a preset course. Was there anything in the statement that forced you to take a step back and take notice, Scott?
You know, when you really dig into it, there is a little bit of a divergence between some of the Fed governors. There's some of them that really don't think we need a cut, and we're going to get a cut. But if you look at the CME futures for the Fed Watch tool for what may happen, there actually was a small bump up in the chance and the possibility that there wouldn't be a rate cut coming up at the next meeting. It's only a very small 2% chance, but just a few days ago, last week, it was a 0% chance. It was a 100% chance that we were getting a cut.
Scott, how about the strong U.S. dollar, the little engine that could, I've been calling it, right back to the 2019 high this week. It still is yet to take out the high from August, the 1st of August. I think we posted a high for the year, but it's holding near this multi-year high. I can almost hear it saying, I think I can. Scott, do you think it can?
I do, especially in the short run here. It's been, like you said, I mean, the little engine that could, it's just been chugging along. And there's really no reasons right now, front and center, to believe that there's going to be a retreat back at all. Unless we get some big, change in policy here coming out in the next few weeks here, I don't see why it would really retreat.
Scott, how about the euro? Definitely saw some disappointing economic data leading into the overnight session, but the manufacturing numbers last night seemed a little bit better than expected. I did notice here this morning that we've got the dollar, which is currently trading slightly higher against the euro currency. Nothing major, but we just mentioned the strength we've been seeing in the dollar hold above the 98 level. Did you take notice in terms of some of the numbers, and what are they telling you?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. The French and German PMI numbers were actually stronger than expected, which first time we've seen that in God knows how long. Now, how much do you hang your hat on that? How much do you look at that and say, oh, maybe we've hit a bottom, maybe there's going to be a turnaround? I think you really have to be cautious about that. However, that's not a bad sign. That's, it could be a one-off report, but certainly it's a little bit encouraging.
Scott, Boris Johnson met with Angela Merkel yesterday. She's challenged him with coming up with a solution in 30 days. I'm somewhat skeptical. I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of the possibilities, the likelihood of that happening.
Zero. No chance at that at all. I mean, he is so hardline with the policy and the no Brexit situation. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any change. Now, I wouldn't rule out, as quote-unquote set in stone it is, that at the end of October it's supposed to happen. Could we potentially see another delay? Could this get delayed into even the first quarter of next year to maybe sort of work things out? I'm not saying that I've seen any rhetoric to that, but I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah, and he's set to meet with Macron today, France's prime minister, but from what I'm seeing, he's more in line with Merkel than anyone else. I mean, he's kind of taken this position that it's, well, not so much our way or the highway, but they're not willing to budge.
Exactly. I mean, he's been a staunch critic of that, and he said that, repeated that again overnight. They're not going to budge. So, is something going to happen? That's why I think that there is a very, very slight possibility, Ben, that maybe we see another extension.
All right, let's just get into Fed Chair Jackson Hole's comments tomorrow. I'm keeping a close eye on rates in terms of the fact that they're holding near these lows. Again, we have yet to take out recent lows, but certainly accepting these lower levels. We've got treasuries near highs. What are you going to be looking for in terms of tomorrow's statements and reaction to in some of these financial markets?
I don't think we're going to get anything that the market is not expecting right now, because we've already seen from the Fed minutes that there has been some dissension. Obviously, that's going to be a focal point. How much dissension is there? However, the overriding bias is to a further rate cut coming in the next few weeks or next month in September. The question is going to be 25 or 50, and then what happens from there? I don't think the Fed is going to play that hand. I don't think they're going to really go outside of the box other than to say, we're monitoring the situation. It's very fluid.
Noted. Scott, really appreciate you joining us here. A good breakdown in terms of talking Fed, what to expect, and discussion here in terms of some of the activity we've seen related to some of those numbers out in the overnight session. That's Scott Bauer. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, joining us to talk currencies.